The Schools Class 440 locomotive, designed by R.E.L. Maunsell for the Southern Railway and introduced from 1930 onwards, has always been one of my favourite locos. So when some years ago Hornby introduced their first model of the class, I just had to have one. For its time, the loco was well detailed, well proportioned, and in my view captured the appearance of the prototype very well. Mine, which was made in 1983, is in late crest BR green, numbered 30911 and named Dover. It is in ex-works condition, which is normally something I don't like, as I prefer my locos to be weathered, but this one will be kept like this as it is going to be used for a special purpose, of which more later. Like a lot of Hornby steam outline locos at that time, this one is powered by a ring-filled motor driving the tender wheels. Current is picked up from some of the tender wheels and some of the loco wheels. The loco will be ideal for my Havant Aclew layout, so I unearthed it to see if it would still run. I cleaned and lubricated the motor and tested the loco on the track. It ran very well at moderate to high speeds, but as can be seen from the video clips, although the test track had been thoroughly cleaned, the loco stalled and hesitated several times at low speeds. I do like to see locos and trains running at realistic speeds, and although I appreciate that this is a difficult ask, what with sharp radius curves and insel frog points, I thought I would have a look to see if things could be improved. A lot of the stalling and hesitating seems to occur when one of the tender wheels is on the insel frog section of a point, and one of the current picking up wheels on the opposite side is not actually touching the track at all. This means that at that moment there's probably only one tender wheel picking up current. If that wheel is dirty or on a slightly dirty piece of track, then the loco stalls. Looking at the underside of the tender, you can see that on one side there are two traction tyres, there and there, and a plain wheel in between them. None of these pick up current. On the other side there are three axles with plain metal wheels, only the outer two of which, that one and that one, pick up current. Looking at the loco, there are pickups on the driving wheels here and here, and on the bogie here and here, on the same side as the traction tyres on the tender. A wire goes to a drawbar which makes contact with the brass pivot on the front of the tender, which then carries current to the motor. This means, I think, that there are four wheels picking up current on one side of the loco, but only two on the other side. My thinking, therefore, is if I add extra pickups to the locomotive, here and here, and hardwire them through to the tender, this may well solve the problem and smoother, slower running may result. The chassis is simply clipped to the body at the rear and held in place by a screw at the front. Once the screw is undone, the chassis can be removed from the body by gently pulling it forwards. This shot shows halfway through fitting the pickups. On this wheel is the black plastic insulating strip. On this wheel, not only the black plastic strip, but I have attached one of the Hornby sword brass pickup pieces. The two pickups are soldered together with a black wire, and the brown thinner wire will lead off through the locomotive cab to the tender. This shot shows the wire emerging from the cab through the firebox, which Hornby have very thoughtfully left open for just this purpose. Having wired the loco to the tender, it was tested on the track. Running was much improved and the hesitancy was much less, but not as good as I'd hoped. Running in reverse was fine, but forwards was not. And as most of the time the loco will be running forwards when it's on the layout, yet more research was called for. The problem seemed to be with the pivot between the loco and tender. When running in reverse, the contact on the loco was in permanent tension with the tender, which seemed to give an uninterrupted current flow to the motor, but when running forwards it was not. I decided therefore to hardwire the other side of the loco to the tender and see if that improved matters. It did, and as can be seen from this video clip, running is much improved in both directions. The video still shows some hesitancy, but it also reveals what the naked eye missed. There is a slight and unintended dip in the track, which is probably down to my poor baseboard building skills. So I guess I'm going to have to live with it. A Hornby loco crew, intended for a West Country class loco, were modified to fit the smaller schools class cab, painted and fitted in place. Their overalls are nice and clean as they are on Royal Train duty. Short formation Pullman trains were often used by the southern region on short journeys for various members of the royal family. The preferred loco class for these trips during the 1950s was the schools class, and they were always turned out in immaculate condition. Head code discs were therefore added to the front of my model to indicate that it's on royal duty. Day trips to Goodwood and Portsmouth were just two of the destinations covered by these trains, and these gave me the perfect excuse to run some of the exquisite Hornby Pullman coaches on my layout Havant Aclew, which is set in Hampshire. That's all for now. See you next time.